into a fucking.
You have such a loud. I was going to almost say loud mouth, loud voice.
We talk about that
compared to me. So when I'm singing,
compared to almost everybody,
I can feel my voice just disappearing.
And that's not a compliment. I know.
I can feel it disappearing into this giant room without a mic.
But you got to fucking, call up a little extra to do it.
Oh, I know. I don't have much voice left anymore. It's all going down the drain.
I know. We were talking about this getting old.
Yep.
Shit.
That's the last show. That's you, Norm.
Okay, everything's on mic from here on.
Do you have a test pattern?
No, I got a weird going.
What's that?
We are on.
We are on. We're on. Where was I? I was down taking a squirt. How you doing down in the basement? Banging the chief on the bedroom door. Hey, I am the manful handful. The Greaser, who's a lady Palisa. Love that one. The wop with the bop. The guinea with the skinny. The Guido in the Speedo. And I come on strong, and girls, I stay on long. Now kick that around your pretty little heads a moment, if you would. I've got a friend with me here today who never liked me. Never liked me. But I recruited him from the depths of degradation.
Under protest.
He was a nobody. A stone cold a nobody. Came to Pittsville, Pennsylvania with Nason Bullball's gig. And they moved next door to Robbie the Beadman Johns over in Wiltonburg.
Where?
I said Wiltonburg. They moved over to Wiltonburg. When he come from out where y'all hunts the chicken. You know what I'm saying? Out there. Where, you know what they do out there? Life without living. That's what they do out there. And that's no bullshit. And you tell me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cooper.
Or you just lost your Altoona crowd.
That's what I'm just saying. When we be in the Tigers, we was living life at the highest low life level. We were low lives at the highest level of low life. I don't know. That's the best way I could say it. And we'd be in these shithole towns. Altoona, of which was one. Well, I've got a lot of good friends there, actually.
Not anymore.
Exactly. But check it out. But we would be in a Pizza Hut after we set up for the gig. We should talk about that time that guy was killed himself in our dressing room. How you doing? For a happy thought.
Lighthearted topic.
But anyway, we'd be sitting in a goddamn Pizza Hut, and there'd be the five of us and a couple of our roadies were fantastic. We all slept together. We didn't give a crap. And we'd be sitting in the Pizza Hut, and we'd be looking around, and Paul Shook, beautiful blue eyes, big pipes on him, full chest, tits. He'd be busting out of his shirt all manfully. And we'd look around the Pizza Hut, and there would be us laughing our Corleones off, grabbing each other's by the gooch just to get a schmiggle and a schmile. And we'd look around the room, and Shook would go like this, "Hey, look at it." And we'd all stop giggling and schmiggling. We'd look around the room, and he'd go like this, "Life without living." And there would be all these couples, happy couples. And they'd be sitting there at the goddamn Pizza Hut eating together, not saying a word to each other, not smiling, not being happy. And Shook would go, "Look at it. Life without living. You don't want to end up like that." You remember that shit?
Yes, I do.
And we all knew. We were like, you know what? We are living on 10. We are exactly the best, perfect place to be. Because the perfect place to be is, let me say, I can't count the number of words in this phrase. Under the radar. Once you're in the radar and you're a musician or an athlete, I mean, I think like being a minor league baseball player would be the greatest.
Can I get you a personal pan pizza?
Life without living. You know what I'm saying. But, you know, like, and as a rock and roll guy, once, like, we had friends that became famous and big stars and got all that goddamn money. And you know what they did with all that money? Spent it. But it didn't make their lives no richer. And you know what else it didn't do? And you'll agree with me when I say this. It didn't make their music better. And I don't think it made what they were getting out of life. That under the radar thing, there's something to be said for living on 10, but under the radar. Because once the eyes are on you and once the money's involved, you know what happens to the fun quotient? it softens flaccidity. Have you ever heard me use that word,
That's a first.
flaccidity?
There's always a first with you.
Thank you. Flaccidity. Tom. Hello, Tom. Is
Hello,
flaccidity. Hello, Tom. Answer this, please. Is flaccidity a word? Rochelle,
I think so.
you think it is a word?
I've heard others use it when they were discussing you.
I think I just took one to the
But that's
gut.
a first.
I might throw up on that one. You know, when someone punches you in the gut and your gut's soft like mine, you know what happens? You woof. Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'm going to have to lay down for a minute. He's heard it said about me.
I'd say turn off my mic, but I don't have one, so.
And that's the problem with this show.
Yep.
I need to be able to corn dog you back to the back of the bleachers. Hey, Wadi Cooper is our guest today. I'm the manful handful, and Tom's here, Rochelle's here. We are at Eastside Sound Studio, 2053 Monongahela Avenue, Schweizville. You know Schweizville? Right down the street from the Triangle, right down the street from Rudy's. And you know the Italian girls that work at Rudy's? Tom? They're all about this. And an Italian man that likes to talk a little shit. These Italian girls, they're like, yep. Come on in, Norman. Have a seat. Let us stuff a little gabagool in your guinea face.
And don't forget, it's the home of Fat City.
Home of the real Fat City. Not the Fat City on the south side that was, once again, under the radar. The real Fat City. You know who come and played at the real Fat City? Willie effing Dixon. The T-Birds. When the original T-Bird band. With the original drummer and the bass player.
Pulling a gun.
He thought I was pulling. If I mentioned Fat City, he thought I was pulling a gun. I told you about that time. You remember that time? We were playing at Fat City. And for the first time in my sorry life, I was on the cover of a music magazine. I was a cover boy. Hello, cover boy. Get over here. I was the cover boy. And the club owner, whose name I won't mention because I love him too much, took me down in the basement to pay me at the end of the night. And he pulls out this magazine with my face on the cover. You remember this.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to me, he says, what do you think it is? I said, man, it's so cool. I says, I'm on the cover. I says, I've been in pictures before and stories, but I was never on the cover of anything. And he goes like, oh, yeah, really? Let me show you what I think of it. And he takes it and he throws it in a pile of dirt in the basement of the club, pulls out a gun and starts shooting me in the face. You remember that?
I do.
I come upstairs. I was as white as him. My skin was as white as his. I turned like the color of a fish's belly. A catfish who's on the bottom of the tank.
They shot guns into the ceiling so many times that when it would rain,
Yeah.
it would just come down.
Little trickles of water. We'll show you where bullets had shot.
Buckets everywhere.
I always say sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and guns. I remember everybody used to talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But then you throw in guns, it takes it to a lower level, which we were proud to be a part of.
Of course.
And you know we were. Mr. Cooper. Wadi Cooper's with us today. And like I say, when Harry Bottoms is here, you probably don't know because you never watch my goddamn show. But what I would say when Harry was here, I'd introduce him and I'd say, Harry Bottoms, and then I would say, put your hooves together. And it sounds like this when you put your hooves together. Where's the mic? My hooves are together.
I'd watch your show, but it comes on at the same time as the Waltons. So
Well, I can see why you wouldn't. Good night, white boy. He makes fun because I am a confirmed and lifelong fan of the Waltons. I watch the Waltons every day at 12 noon. I schedule my life, my awakening time, my time to eat, my time to take the dog out. Any meetings I might have or phone calls I might make are all scheduled around the 12 o'clock appearance of the Waltons.
this is a
On
cry for help, if I ever heard one.
on, you guess what channels it's on? Me TV. And when I got my old lady hooked this thing up where, like it's this thing where you press the buttons and channels change and shit like that. And now this thing, she says, you press that button, that blue button, and then you talk into it and you tell it what you want. So I F with it. And I always go, me TV. And I want to make sure, and it says CW, I always go, CW. And I'll say, what channel do you want to go? CW. And then it won't take it. It'll say, asking questions. Say it again. And I go, CW. And I always F with the machine to see if it can translate a man who likes to talk a little shit. And when I say a man who talks a little shit, you're looking right at him.
Little shit.
I just wish I was more of a man. And this one here, he's over here, he's saying shit. It's pissing me off. He's making my nose run. My nose is starting to run. What are you gonna do? Hey, on the Norman Nardini shoe. One thing we do, what kicks off, gives it the flair, is when we play, it ain't a party till you bring your ass over here. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I've played this song, It Ain't a Party. I've never played it anywhere but here. I played it for Larry over at the shack one day. He was over there and we were working on some music. And I played him It Ain't a Party. He goes, what's that? I says, it ain't a party till you get here. He says, who wrote that? I says, who the hell you think wrote it? Santa Claus? One of his little helpers, his elves? The elves didn't write it. You know who wrote it? A big moth.
Can I get you a tissue?
You got one?
No.
My snoot is running. Little Big Moth wrote it. It ain't a party till you get here. So what we're going to do for each and every one of you losers, people that watch Tom, the Norman Nardini shoe, we're going to play It Ain't a Party Till You Get Here. Because it ain't a party until you turn on. I know a lot of people watch it on their phones. That's new. That's a whole thing. I don't have one of them cell phones, so I'm not in that. It's amazing. Tom has taken me into the new era of the world by, you know what he does with me? He takes me, brings me to the studio, and he live streams me. And that's like it's not sexual. It's not sexual. It's not a sexual thing. It's a thing that he says it's what people do nowadays. He says a lot of people live streaming. And I says, can I be a part of this new world?
You have one of those crank-up phones, don't you?
I bought my phone in about 1992. The phone I use at my house, and in about 2005, I bought a new battery for it. Because I'm modern. I'm with that shit. And when my phone battery runs out this time, I'm going to be corn effing fused. I'm not going to know what to do. Because I'm going to be like this. Frozen in suspended animation. And I'm not going to know whether to go.
I like that.
You like when I do that?
Yeah, hold that.
I'll
Hold that for
give
2 hours.
I'll give you a boot in a shit can. This sumbitch been like saying shit under his breath, and the microphone will say shit. You're a little midget. You're no goddamn good.
I never said that.
One of his big lines, you're no goddamn good. He'll say shit like that while I'm working, and I need my confidence. And I need my guys to puff me up. I need them to, what do they do? I need fluff boys. In a porno movie, who keeps the action going. Speaking of the word flaccidity. Fluff people. You need a fluff crew. And I just like those porno stars. I'm like a lot of them porno stars. I need fluffed when I'm on stage. I need people that put air.
You need a fluff crew.
That might help. If I have,
Teamwork.
a team.
Teamwork.
A team of fluffers. That'd be a good name for my new band. Norman Nardini and his Fluffers. Go ahead, say it out there in the end of the internet. Fluffer. When you're making love with your special somebody.
Don't look at me.
And you're kissing everything they got. and you're rubbing and touching real nice and smacking them right on the ass, right on their ass cakes. And you're thinking thoughts about making it happen. Tom, make ba-boom! Coming on strong and staying on long. When you're thinking those thoughts, just say to your special somebody, fluffer, 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 fluffer. Wadi misses me when we don't play together. We did 30-some years together, dragging our asses across the road. He was there the night Harry pissed in the closet in Cleveland. Who was there? He was there.
I was sleeping in it.
He was there the night we opened for Alice. Tom, do you know Alice Cooper? Do you know who that is? We opened for Alice. You remember it.
Oh,
You know where it was? Philadelphia. You know what they say in Philadelphia? You want to buy some peels? We were in Philadelphia. Oh, you know what the name of the club was? You don't even remember. I do. You know why? Because my mind is tight. We were at the Emerald Room.
Emerald City,
Exactly. That's what I said.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
See, you don't remember. Was that where it was?
Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 1982.
Well, we were in the city. We were up in Manhattan, and we had been on the road for a while, and we were. Excuse me, I just burped to myself. My nose is running. My burping. We were in the city. The city that what? Never sleeps. Love it up there. And we were coming back to Pittsfield, and I got a call from an agent. I said, agent. And he says, hey, I got a gig for you on your way home tonight. I was like, oh, that's cool. I says, where's it at? He says, Philadelphia. I says, we do peels. Tom, are you okay? Do you want to lay down? Do you need a fluff?
No, I'm
Tom, do you
alright.
need a fluff? You okay? Good. I need a team of fluffers. Say fluffers. Let me hear you say fluffer. Wait a minute. He's having a drink.
Fluffer.
Fluffer. Fluffers. Wait a minute. He's taking a snort. Say fluff.
Glenn Tilbrook of Squeeze beat you to it. That's his band when Squeeze is off the road.
What's their name?
The Fluffers.
I like how he said it. He said it good, didn't he?
He did.
Say it one more time.
What's that?
What's the name of Glenn Tilbrook's band?
The Fluffers.
I like how he said it. But the fact that he said it, it took me from my story that I was telling. Oh, coming into Philadelphia. So I said, what's the date? He said it's at the Emerald Room.
Emerald City,
That's what I said.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is kind of Philadelphia. So I says, okay, who's on the show? He says, you're opening up for Alice Cooper. And I don't know if you know this, but Alice has the exact same name. Same lashed. I said lashed. I slobbered when I said it. Love when I do that. That's a good thing about having the camera there. You can watch. You can later watch your spit.
You get stuff coming out of everywhere.
I'm telling you what. He has the same last name as Whitey Clyde what?
Cooper.
Did you ever notice that Alice Cooper has the same last name as you?
I heard about that.
Did you ever stop and think about it?
No.
Did you ever want to fight him?
No.
Okay.
You?
Did I ever want to fight him?
No, I said I'm thinking about you.
I'm sure you wanted to fight me on many occasions.
No.
Okay, so we're open for this Alice. And rooms packed, probably about 1,500 to 2,000 people.
Easy.
It was a big club. And the guy, the agent that booked the date didn't tell me the reason we got this date on such short notice was it was a 2-night stand for Mr. Cooper, and the band that opened the first night says, we ain't playing the second night because we got booed off the stage and people were throwing shit at us. So they backed out. He calls my ass in New York, and I says, yeah, well, I'm stupid. Yeah, we'll do it. So we go down, and then I'm figuring out, I said, no, we just stepped in a trap. These sons of bitches, they don't want to see nobody but Alice. So we went out and did our show, kicked ass, and Whitey took a quarter to the forehead in the middle of the set because people were booing us. and yelling shit at us the whole show. But the truth is, in the front rows, we were not winning. We were not winning the show, Tom. But in the back of the room, we were, you know what we were doing? We were converting. We were taking rock and roll people and taking their mind space and filling it with Tiger Mania, filling it with Nardini blood. And I could see that we were converting. The guys in the band really couldn't see that because they're a little bit further back. I'm up on the edge of the stage. So, and I'm like feeling good about who we are and what we did. At the end of the last song, I go up to the end of the stage and I go like this, "Thank you very much." And when I did that, this little kid sitting in the front row, about 14 or 15 years old, he had a Coke in his hand. He went like this, whew, and he threw it and hit me right in the face. Right in the goddamn face, Tom. You remember? And I was so goddamn pro. I acted like nothing happened. Like it was like a stunt or something, like a special effect. I'm like, "Thank you very much, thank you very much." And I walked off the show. That motherfucker, son, I'm gonna beat. But I was pro. And then as soon as we got off stage, we looked at each other. My God, that motherfucker was throwing shit at us, breaking stuff. And we laughed our balls off the whole way home that night. And right after the show, you know what we did? We got in a goddamn truck. And I guess the drive from Philadelphia, or you keep saying Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Okay, I'll make it official. Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The drive from Cherry Hill to New Jersey to Pittsfield, to the east side of Pittsfield, is about 5 of these. I'm not talking hours. About 5 joint ride. Not real far. You can do it in one swoop. And that's what we did. We were all so high on the gig. Remember Alice, we were backstage and checking out Alice. And he had his guillotine. He was going to chop someone's head off. Tom. He was going to chop somebody's head off that night. Rochelle, have you ever seen anyone have their head chopped off on a rock and roll stage?
No.
Me neither. And I got the hell out of there before they started chopping.
I got a concussion.
From that quarter. Why did you took a quarter to the forehead? A little kid threw my, boom, hit him right in the forehead.
And I think it was a silver dollar.
I think it was a quarter. You're exaggerating.
Embellished.
You always embellish. I don't,
But
because
it was Cherry Hill, New Jersey, so.
Hey, let's play. It ain't a party till you get here. So all you hunters out in the middle of the internet land that might be watching, and all you hunters that ain't watching tonight that are going to be watching further on down the road on what they call YouTube. You ever hear YouTube?
Not pronounced that way.
YouTube. It's called YouTube. I go there sometimes and I seek out cool music, and I find it there. I navigate it. I get on there and I talk to it. I press a couple things, and it comes up. Hey, I told you when I played this for Larry. He said, "Who wrote that?" I said, "Who the hell? God damn it! Who you think wrote it?" I'm playing it. You know who wrote it? But before we play that, let's do this. Kick in with me.
What is it?
Kick in with me. Hey guys, you're watching the Norman Nardini Shoe. Schweitzville, Pennsylvania. And you know what my name is, don't you? Norman Roosevelt, Aloysius, Nicodemus, Amadeus, Valentino, Giovanni, Romeo, Lucian, Aloysius, Nardini, and I want to bend you, send you, and give you a smack right on your goddamn shit can like this here. Give me a hit. Give me a hit. Thank you. You were just one beat off. give me a closing chord. I've been doing that lately. You know what? I go down in my basement and I entertain myself. And I turn on my cheap keyboard And I sing things like this. Nardini, Aloysius. And my old lady's upstairs, you know, she's got to go, that asshole's done. Jesus Christ. You know what? I hope he stays down there. That's what I think's going on in her hillbilly head. Okay. I've mentioned a couple times. Psst, it ain't a party.
Turn yourself up a bit.
Turn my keyboard up. That's as loud as this son of a bitch goes. Let me say this to you. It ain't a party till you get here. Now, when you're planning to get together with someone who you have a special feeling for, you anticipate it. You think about it. You freshen up. Tom, you freshen up, right? You get in the shower, you sing a little bit of opera. Wash your pits, your ass cakes. You know, when I'm in the shower, a lot of times I'll just smack my ass cakes. Crack, crack, crack. And I'll do it until I get the sound that I want. The first couple of times I'll get flesh on flesh. It won't crack like I want it to crack. Let me show you. See, that's what happens. It's kind of like a fart that never happened. But then whenever you get it right, it goes like this here. That's a ding dong hallelujah goddamn cowbell. You know, we used to have a band together. It was me, Whitey, Harold Gurley Bottoms, you've met him, and Lamont effin' Samuels. That little happy Polish, fantastic individual. And what we used to do, and let me tell you this, I'll be right back to this. This is just to say, I want to make an effing point. We played at Excuses on the South Side on Friday nights, and what we did, Tom, this is unheard of. And you tell me, you've been around. Tom's spent time in Boston, am I right? Nashburg, am I right? Erie, Pittsfield, any other cities where you spent a lot of time?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Great town.
And let me ask you this, Tom. Have you ever seen a performance where a group of gentlemen will take the stage, play 4 hours of acoustic music, take a little break, and then play 4 more hours of electric music? Have you ever seen that done?
And only play one song.
That's bullshit. He's stroking you. But that's what we used to do. We used to do it every goddamn Friday night. You know why we did it? Just to prove a goddamn point, so that other musicians would fear us. And regular people that just go out to see a band, you know, some guy jerking off on some bullshit, they would fear. We didn't want them coming in to see us. We wanted the only people to come and see us who people really wanted touched. They wanted to see the real shit. 8 goddamn hours, Hunter.
You're scaring me right now.
Good. I'll sit back down and I'll calm. Can I calm myself? Tom, does the internet get mad when I start yelling? Tom's shaking his head. I mean, Tom, you know, when we do this and you don't answer me, it leaves a void. So I know when you shake your head, you could make a sound as well, because there are people that are waiting for an answer. And look at him. He's just looking at me going, I wish
Well,
he'd leave
you're
me.
over there and I'm over here.
I'll throw my voice over there.
It ain't a party till you get here. 1, 2. Joints jumping, pimps and hoes, but there's something missing till you show. It ain't a party till you get here. When you arrive, everybody get turned up. The joint come alive. You make my blues disappear. It ain't a party till you get here. Lights are low, bands play, dress to kill, people swing. But it ain't a party till you get here. party till you get here. It ain't a party till you get here. Hey! How you doing? Spilling out into the parking lot. Inside the joint, it's too damn hot. It ain't a party till you get here. Where you around, everybody is turned up. The joint come alive. You make my blues disappear. It ain't a party till you get here. I hope I made myself perfectly clear. It ain't a party till you get here. It ain't a party, It ain't a party till you get here. Applause, applause, applause. You know the last verse of that song. It says, spilling out into the parking lot. Inside the joint, it's too damn hot. And I got that line because I was thinking about when dearly parted Paul Shook passed away. We had a show at Moonbugs. The biggest crowd ever come to Moondogs. 30 effing years Moon has been dogging the joint, that shithole. But when Shook died, when we put that party together, the parking lot was crowded. The parking lot. Tom, not just the club, the parking lot was full. Polish, hunkies, Bagos. They were all there. And, you know, they're mingling and they're laughing, all telling stories about Shook. Some bullshit that he pulled. I know, Wadi will tell you. When I was starting the Tigers, I started off with David Johns, the Beat Man's little brother. Ray Gunn on bass was the first Tiger. And me and him painted our guitars Tiger striped right away. And it was just the three of us, and we would hire Warren King to play gigs with us because we were playing together in the Diamonds. And he would take gigs just for the mun. He didn't give a shit about what we were doing, but he took it for the mun. And then David Johns left playing very early on. I don't know how many, we might have only done one or two gigs together.
It was two.
2 dates. You know, I like when he, you know what I mean? He qualifies the things that I say because I don't remember a lot of shit. And so anyway, and then we had Derek Edwards playing Tubbs after David left. And then Derek left. I remember taking Derek Edwards to New York City to play CB J bass. Remember CB J bass?
He bit me once.
I remember when he bit you. I remember you cried like a goddamn baby. You were, cause he hit you.
Well, he was big.
He's not big. He hasn't been big in a while.
But he was big, and he bit through. I had a leather jacket on. He bit.
He bit through the leather to your skin. Yeah. You know what they used to call him? Tom, do you know? When he was working with me, Bone Crusher. You remember that? Yeah. His nickname was Bone Crusher. And then Bone Crusher quit me, Norman Nardini, and the Tigers to play in a goddamn lodge band. Are you effing kidding me? What in the hell's up with that shit? You know what? I didn't even fight with him. He says, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to join some band called Toys or some bullshit. I was like, are you effing kidding me? You're leaving me. I just took you to CBJB's. And you're going to quit me to go play at a lounge band called Toys? Give me in it. But anyway, so then, when Derek quit, I could smell LOTP. L-O-T-P. LOTP. LOTP. Say the word LOTP. Life on the planet. I could tell what Norman Nardini was doing was touching MFers. You know what was happening? You know what was happening? You remember this. You know what was happening? Chicks was coming up. And what I mentioned a little bit ago, when you're going to see somebody that you're excited about, the anticipation of that moment of meeting together, what do? You scrub it up. You make it up. You dress it up. And you take the carcass out to the event. And I sniffed it. And I sniffed at it. And I says, you know what we're doing here? Chicks is all about some Norman Nardini and his goddamn tigers. And I knew I couldn't, when everybody was leaving me, I'm going like, they don't know. They don't smell what I smell to them. You smell what the dork's cooking? Remember when The Rock used to say there? You smell what the Rock's cooking? How much do I love effing wrestlers? So much it's stupid. Well, anyway, so I knew I had to put something together. So at the time I was producing a band of friends of ours. Wadi Cooper was playing in it. Nason Bullball's gig. Who was singing? Ralph?
No, that was Keith Giles.
Keith Giles was singing. And on guitar was this pretty Pollock. And I'm talking pretty as an MFer. I hadn't even seen him. And they said they got this new guitar player. They thought I was going to like him. He's a really good guy. He loves rock music. And I said, does he got any experience? Does he know what the hell he's doing? They're like, well, no. I says, well, bring his ass over. And I says, we're going to play together today. Is that what happened? Tell me if I'm wrong.
I don't remember this stuff.
You remember better than I do. So anyway, they came over and we played a little bit together. And I was starting to train them. Like an animal trainer. Like them two gay guys in Las Vegas, Tom. What was their names? The animal trainers for show?
With the tigers.
Siegfried and Roy.
What's the first name?
Siegfried and Roy.
Let me say. We'll say that first word again.
Siegfried.
Siegfried. Let me say it correctly. Siegfried. Siegfried and Roy. They were training tigers. At the time, I was a tiger trainer myself. I was training guys to be my tigers. So I brought in Whitey, Bullballs, and Shook. And I was training men on this goddamn music I was doing at the time, which was very animalistic, very simple. And I'll use two words to describe the music. Manful. Manful. Strong.
And you made Nason play keyboard, but he was a bass player.
Nason was playing bass.
And he never played keyboard in his life.
Right. Nason was playing, but I love Nason. And you know why I liked him? Because he was a rock and roll kid. He had rock and roll in his spirit. And I didn't, and I had auditioned a couple guys to play. And you know what I found with these young guys that I was auditioning? It was the times of happy-ass new wave and all that bullshit. But it was exploding and everybody was getting into it. It was part of American culture at the time. It was huge, in other words. Things don't get that huge now because it's all fragmented bullshit. But it was part of culture and it was exploding. And I'm bringing in some musicians to audition. And you know what I was seeing? I was meeting these young guys that played, that had some chops, had a lick or two, some nice looking kids. But you know what they weren't? They weren't rock and roll people. I could tell that if I drugged them out on a effing road, threw 7 or 8 guys in a goddamn hotel room, told them, we're going to sleep for 2 or 3 hours, then we're going to get up and then we're going to drive to Buffalo. And then we're going to put on a goddamn show and scare these sons of bitches when we get there. And then we're going to stay up all night and party. And then we're going to drive to Cleveland. And then we're going to do the same goddamn thing. Stay up all night. Smoking, drinking, laughing, bullshitting. And then we're going to drag ourselves home in the morning. Whenever that is. I could tell the day there wouldn't be no goddamn fun. Tom, I didn't want to get in a truck with them people. I didn't want them in my goddamn truck. If I said to them, hey, somebody roll me 8 joints, not one of them said, well, I don't want, what do you have, marijuana in the truck? I didn't want those guys in my goddamn truck. I wanted some rock and roll people. These guys were rock and roll people. Mason was playing bass. He was a good bass player. And he was playing in their band Resistance. In fact, I wrote T-Bird for those guys. Remember T-Bird? Tom, it goes like it's T-Bird. You can't say T-Bird and not go like this. You know what I mean? You ever go like this?
You can't say anything without doing that.
I can't. So anyway, I take these sons of bitches. I rehearse them and I go, you know what? And I told Nathan, I took his bull fingers and I would place them on keys and I'd say, you just go like this. Dun, 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 dun. I said, don't move them goddamn fingers. Just do them 3 notes. And when I look at you, just go like doo-doo-doo. And he did it. And he could pull that off.
Except our first gig in New York City, he was unplugged.
Okay. Well, it wasn't, things like that happen.
No, intentionally unplugged.
Things like that happen. And what was our first gig in New York City? Tramps.
I think so, yeah.
Was that gig where we were playing? And some hot-looking chick come up, stood right in front of the stage.
People are saying, sing a song.
Oh, okay.
You're getting a groundswell from the.
They want to hear music.
From the crowd, they want to hear music.
I'll do a song. But I remember we were playing in New York City, and this is another time when I knew, Tom, that we were onto something. And some chick come walking up to the stage, stood right in front of the band, and picked her dress up. And my whole band's face just went like, joy was on their faces. And I knew I had the right guys. I knew I was in the right club. I knew I was playing the right music. And I said, you know what? I am him. Okay, so we'll play a goddamn song. Let's do, what was I thinking about playing?
Rock and roll band.
I was thinking about playing a number that we played back then. In fact, we used to start off shows with this shit. I wrote it when I was in the Diamonds, and Frank Zori, the lead singer of the Diamonds, I'd call it on stage, and he said, I don't want to do that song. He never liked this song, and I don't blame him.
Freddie.
For Duke. We're going to play it for you now. It's a little thing called Ready, Freddie. And we're going to send it out to all the people that didn't complain about not having a song played. But we're going to play it. We'll send it out to the people that didn't complain, but we'll send it out but we'll play it for the people who did. And that way, we got them all covered.
This will be our last song of the night, right?
Tom, would you tell him to stop effing with me? Would you tell him he's no goddamn good? We'd like to play Ready, Freddie. And when I play it, I'm going to strum it. Before I play it, I'm going to strum the guitar up here. Have you ever seen that done before? Probably not. But have you ever seen this done? This is one of my most power moves. I do it a lot on stage. You'll know this. It's the sound of fairies. What sound does a fairy make? One, two, three. Time to rock and roll. Are you ready? Ready, Freddie? Tell me, what are you waiting for? She got you looking right and it's out out of control. Out of control. Are you ready? Ready? To go down and see you, baby. She goes steady, Freddie. Brother, I don't mean baby. Your girl's looking alright and it's out of sight. Out of control. And then you get into the backseat, lip service, moving on down the road. Pull her to a side street, give her a header. You gotta get it up, you gotta go, man, go. Go! Are you ready? Ready, Freddie? Go up and try to rock and roll. Are you ready? Ready, Freddie? Tell me what are you waiting for? She got you look down right and it's out of sight, out of control. Hey, your girl's looking alright and it's out of sight, out of control. Out of control. Out of control. Out of control. Pick it up. Sending out to my friend Fast Freddie from Youngstown, Ohio, who was there the night that Harry Bottoms saw Michael Jackson in the cheap ass Christmas foam that they sprayed on the window. You know, they get that, it's supposed to look like snow. Comes in a can, Tom. Do you ever see that? And we were playing up there. It was like in the Christmas season. And Harry goes, "Do you see that?" I said, "See what?" He says, "You can see there's Michael Jackson's in the, he's in the Christmas snow on the little display." We were like, "Get that, I love this shit." Ready, Freddie, man. Good stuff. Tigers did it every night. Every goddamn night we played that shit. Well, let's play another song. Wrote this one not so long ago. I was talking to a friend of mine, a couple friends of mine, struggling. Because when we was in the Tigers, we was all young and pretty. We was tight. We didn't have no goddamn problems.
Look at us now.
That was 40-some years ago. And then you know what happens with life. You know what life do? Life beat the living shit out of a man or a lady. And wrote this a year or two ago after talking to a couple buddies about their problems. Wadi Cooper going to sing it with me. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he has a very seductive. You know the word seductive, Tom? I put an H in it. Seductive voice.
Starting to foam at the mouth.
Yeah. Seductive voice. Soulful, seductive way of vocalizing. Little thing called Till I'm Not. In other words, I'm going to live till I'm not. And it's going to feature the soulful tones of Wadi Cooper. And by the way, we'll maybe talk a little bit later about where Wadi got the middle name Clyde. Can you say Clyde effing Stubblefield? We'll talk about that shit. 2, 3, 4. Ooh, ooh. I'm gonna live till I'm not. Gonna give all that I got out of this life. I'm gonna get a lot, and I'm gonna live till I'm not. Till I'm not amazed by the rain falling down, treating of the season turning around. Till I'm not impressed that our three rivers flow to the Mississippi down to the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm gonna live till I ain't not. Gonna give all that I got out of this life. I'm gonna get a lot, and I'm gonna live till I'm not. Till I'm not overwhelmed when I look to the sky, see 1,000 stars shimmering bright. Till I'm not inspired by the sound of a choir, a snowy winter day, the warmth of the fire. And I'm gonna live till I'm not. Gonna give all that I got out of this life. I'm gonna get a lot, and I'm gonna live till I'm not. Till I'm not able to shed a single tear. Till I'm not overcome when I add up the cost, mistakes that I've made, loved ones I've lost. Till I'm not thankful for all that I've earned. Deep in my heart, passion still burns, and I'm gonna live till I'm not. Gonna give all that I got out of this life. I'm gonna get a lot, and I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live till I'm not. Well, wasn't that delightful? I think it was. Till I'm not. Hey, that's a nice hunk right there. I'm going to ask Wadi about this. I don't know if he knows. I had talked to Harry Bottoms. You know Harry Bottoms.
Yes.
We spent many a truck ride together. Wadi would sit shotgun. The man from Hamble would be driving, and Harry would sit in the seat in the back on the bench. That was never screwed down. It was always just some bench that we threw in the van. In case something would happen to him, Harry would have gone a-flying. Still that way.
It's like the Beverly Hillbillies.
That's us. But I talked to Harry about what I wanted to try and get started. You know, I'm playing rock and roll these years. My shit's going to hell. You know what I mean? I'm shooting blanks at this point. Flaccidity.
Yep.
That's no goddamn good.
Good name for an album.
My hands hurt. You know, my ass hurts. I'm aching. I'm falling apart. So I need a new goddamn way to make money. So I decided what I'm going to do. You tell me if I'm crazy.
This ought to be good.
I'm buying a little mini mall. I'm going to buy a little mini mall. And what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to rent out each facility. It's a great word, right? Say that word, facility. Facility.
I can't. It's too.
I didn't think
too
so.
long.
You're not capable. I'm going to get, in each facility, I'm going to rent it out to a different help program. You know, everybody's in therapy. Tom, are you in therapy right now? Once again, I ask him a question. He answers without making a sound. He answers with body language. You know, we're going to have to get our own camera just for you so that you can answer and you won't have to speak. You can just go. All those moves.
You get a lot of those.
I love it. You know, you have your AA, you have your NA, and now there's all these fragments, like rock and roll. Everything fragments down. And so I'm going to start my own.
NN.
No. I'm going to start my thing, and the first workshop that I'm going to be going to and teaching in is men who love Chihuahuas. You know, and there's a lot of us that need help. I'm going to teach this class strictly because I fell victim for loving the Chihuahua. Another one is, and this will be not very well attended, but the people that'll be there are really going to need it. Men whose fathers ate Fruit Loops. You know, that there's a lot of guys that are struggling. They'd wake up in the morning, their father would be in the kitchen eating Fruit Loops, and you know what it did to these young boys? It twisted and contorted their sense of manhood and sense of delivery. And they were wondering, am I pitching? Am I catching? Am I over here? What the hell's, you know what I mean?
See what happened?
That one I won't be teaching. And the other one that's going to be very well attended. In fact, I'm going to save my biggest facility, my biggest space for men who love whores.
Horses?
Whores. Men who love whores. There's a lot of men who love whores. And not a problem, right? But what happens is they fall so deeply in love. And these whores, well, they don't fall in love. And I guess maybe some of them do. Because I think whores are people, no question. But men who love whores is going to be very well attended. And I think I'm going to be able to charge maybe $700-800 a month rent just for the facility. Easily, right? How many guys we know? I had a couple of buddies. He wouldn't marry a girl unless she was a whore. I had a guy living upstairs. The only women that were ever there while he lived there were whores. There wasn't one girl that wasn't a whore that ever came into the apartment upstairs when this guy was living there. Because the only women he was attracted to, Tom, was selling that shit. Selling that shit. Are you kidding me? How could you not love that? I mean, I don't know.
Is that a new feather?
Did you say feather?
Yeah, you got a new feather in your hat.
I just like that you use the word feather. I love it. Hey, Wadi and I, we're going to play a song that I wrote back when I was studying gospel. Hughgrass gospel. You know what I'm saying, Tom? Hughgrass gospel. Do you get that? Do you get it?
I'm not
Feeling
sure.
it?
Are you having a stroke?
Bluegrass gospel music.
Okay,
Exactly.
that's what I thought.
Thanks, Tom. And you know, there's something to be said, you know, when you're singing for something that matters to you, you can't sing a bad note. At least that's what I've told myself all these years. When I would hear myself singing a bad note, I would go, no, that's not a bad note because you mean it. And what was I doing to myself, Tom? Lying. But it got me through. And maybe that will be one of my small mini groups in my mini mall. Men who lie to themselves. I don't know. Hey, wrote this after studying some of that shit, you know, Ralph Stanley. Really cool bluegrass singer. I think he passed away a couple years ago. At the age of 100 or something like that. Really cool. And he always had all these wonderful 4-part harmonies behind him and guys that were like, you know, when you sing harmonies, you know, a lot of times just guys sing the same notes and hold those notes. But in the bluegrassers and in gospel music in general, you can get guys that hold notes and then other guys, you know what they do? They find the spaces and then they weave. I love the word weave. And they weave their way through and it blends with the ones that are holding their notes. And God damn it, it's called music. And it snaps my effing girdle. And right now we'd like to sing a song called I Was Blind Till I Saw You. And then I come over there and I gave you a smack. Let's try this song. Wadi sings it with me. And I think at different times in our tortured careers together, Wadi might have sang the lead on this number. I think I mentioned that to him the other day, and he denied it.
Never happened.
He denied me 3 times. And I said, I feel like I'm in the Bible. See if I get this thing twisted right. Then it's twisted just right. Nope, twisting it the wrong way. Remember twisting the night away?
Oh, yeah.
Sam effing Cooke. Genius. 1960s music cat. Oh.
50s too.
50s grew into, but the 60s is when he really hit pop music and changed the world. Changed the effing world.
1957. You send me.
Oh, 1957, You Send Me. Mm-hmm. How romantic is the song You Send Me? Tom, did you ever play it?
I've never played it, but
You remember the song?
I know it, yeah.
And let me say this. I want to have a list of people who stole Sam Cooke's singing licks.
Steve Perry.
Rod Stewart.
Steve Perry used
Rod Stewart.
Rod effing Stewart. Southside effing Johnny. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Steve Marriott.
Steve Marriott. But Steve Perry.
He had his own thing.
He had his own thing, yeah.
But he was somewhere. He touched more of an Otis thing. He was touching up Otis.
Yeah.
But Steve effing Perry stole the sound. He did everything he could to sound as much like Sham as he could. And I'm not bitching at him for it. I'm saying that he could do it, and he turned it into his kind of pop music, and it was a great thing. It really was. And I like the original Journey better than the pop one. I was blind till I saw you naked. Till I saw you. I screwed that up. Tom, I screwed that up. I shouldn't have said that.
Can you rewind this?
What I said, I just said. I didn't just say. When I saw you, I saw the world come alive. Saw the sun come up and take the clouds from the sky. When I saw you, saw the flowers in the spring and all the colors autumn will bring. And I was blind till I saw you. I never knew the sky was blue, and I never saw the sun shine through. I was blind till I saw you. When I saw you, I saw a river rolling by. When I saw you, I saw a mountain high. When I saw you, I saw a forest evergreen. And I saw a meadow blowing in the breeze. And I was blind till I saw you. I never knew the sky was blue, and I never saw the sun shine through. I was blind till I saw you. I never saw a rainbow. Never saw a pot of gold. But the first time I saw you, I saw those colors unfold. And I saw you, I saw an eagle soaring high. I saw you, saw a butterfly. When I saw you, I saw a waterfall. When I saw you, I saw the writing on the wall. And I was blind till I saw you. I never knew the sky was blue, and I never saw the sun shine through. I was blind till I saw you. I was blind till I saw you. I never knew the sky was blue, and I never saw the sun shine through. I was blind till I saw you, and I never saw the sun shine through. I was blind till I saw you. I was blind till I saw you. Yeah, I was blind till I saw you. I was blind till I saw you. Remember Ride Your Pony? You know who did it? The Mitas! Out of New Orleans, baby. Ride your pony, get on your pony and ride. That's some nice shit. You know who used to sing it was Chaluch.
Oh, that's right.
Charlie the Boy. Italian kid. Chest hair. The whole show. Nice chest wig on him. You see a lot of these Italian guys, they got a great chest wig. I don't have that. You know when I come up a little short when it
Show
comes.
what you got.
No, you don't want to see it.
Come on.
I was telling Tom the other day. I says, if you saw me naked, I look like a chicken after they plucked out all the feathers. It's not a pretty sight, Tom. It's.
I went blind when I saw you.
Yeah, we used to room together, so. And I went blind when I saw you
some
naked.
things you can't unsee.
See that? When I saw you, I was blind till I saw you naked. That was a forebear of what's to come.
I was traumatized.
You know, Wadi used to play on the Norman Nardini softball team. The Norman Nardini Tiger softball team back in the 80s. We used to have a Tiger softball team. And we won no goddamn good. But everybody wanted to play us. Oh, wait a minute. I just thought of something. Maybe that's why everybody wanted to play us, Tom, because we stunk and they knew they could win. And, a lot of these athletes, all they want to do is win. They don't care if they're beating up a bunch of sissy musicians that were up all night before doing shit they shouldn't have been doing with people they shouldn't have been doing it with. They don't care. How about when I wrote that one song? I don't know if you knew it. Tom, I don't know if you ever heard it. It's called Somebody I Should Be Doing. Something I Shouldn't Be Doing With. Love that moment.
Chew on
We
that
played
one
Three
for a
River
minute.
Stadium. Remember that?
We played Three River Stadium as the Tigers softball team. And when we played it, this gentleman right here, and I use the term gentleman loosely, very loosely. I remember we were playing. You know what? How we did it? What they did was they didn't want us on the infield or around home plate or on the pitcher's mound. So they started us like at the end of the infield. You dig what I'm saying? Does that make sense, Rochelle? We didn't play on their infield. They didn't want us on there. So they put us like kind of like where first base was the beginning of where we played into the outfield. And so the first baseline was the first baseline. And at Three Rivers Stadium, Wadi was playing right field. Wadi Cooper, right field. Someone hit a foul ball,
Fly ball.
a fly foul ball.
Yes.
And Wadi went over to the end of the field, and there was a fence there. And Wadi reached his hand over the fence, and the foul fly ball. That's how you say it best. And it landed right in his stinking glove. Right in his love glove. It loved itself, and it plopped right in there. And this son of a bitch had the biggest prideful smile on his white-skinned face that you could imagine. He just thought he was really something.
Only problem was, I was so shocked. Guys are running in home, and I'm still staring at the ball in my glove. And I think they scored like a couple.
Loving himself and screwing the rest of us. But you know what? We didn't give a goddamn because we knew we were going to lose. We didn't care about losing, Tom. We were playing the Evil Empire radio station that day. And you know what they would do? They would get these young athletes that flunked out of the minor leagues and college ball and shit. And they'd put them on their softball team. And then they'd come out and play a bunch of doper loser musicians like us and act like big shots all chested up. I mean, my sons of bitches, of course you're going to beat us.
Was Pat Elwood one of them?
How do you know Pat Elwood?
Because he said, I played with you, had a blast.
I was going to say, how does he know Pat? I was wondering.
No, he's in the comments. He's watching.
Pat Elwood was a ball player.
Okay.
He was not one. Yeah, we were buddies and we hung together and we played together. But he was not a loser like us. He was a talent. In fact, he got a son or two that's playing minor league ball right now. Probably could play in the majors. Pat Elwood, he was tall.
We had a couple ringers.
But they didn't stay long.
Glenn Pavone.
We had Glenn Pavone playing softball with us, who could have played minor league ball as well. But Elwood was like 6'2", handsome as any guy that ever walked the face of the earth, out of Guntown, New Kensington. But you know what he was, Tom? One of us. He was with us. Just a good person. I think he's out somewhere in Vegas. And I think his wife, and when I say this is heavy. Wait a minute. Tom, it's weighing me down. Thank you. We're weighed down. Wadi and I, we weighed down because this is so heavy. Elwood's wife, and when you know Pat Elwood, you call him Wood. Wood's wife is related to Keely effing Smith.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Related to Keely Smith. You know who Keely Smith was, Tom?
Yeah.
So beautiful, so tight, so iconic in her time with
Louis Prima.
Louis. When they were married, the entire nation knew her name and knew her face. And she was the heartthrob of us all. Elwood's wife is a relation of hers. I think that's so fantastic. And meanwhile, Elwood can play ball like with real ball players, not us. How about this shit with all these baseball players now? It's called spider tack or something. The baseball pitchers are using this thing that the Euro trash weightlifters are using to make their hands be able to grip bars better on weights, and they're putting it on baseballs. And what it does is gives them the grip where they can make the ball spin.
It's like pine pitch.
It's that on steroids. It's this thing it's this substance that was made just for weightlifters. And now the Major League Baseball people have busted it, and on Monday they're starting to sniff the asses of all these pitchers. And they're going to go out and they're going to sniff their asses and smell them and see what they got on their hands and in their pants. You hear me? That's what's happening because they were cheating. They were. I ain't mad at them for it. Hey, would you guys enjoy hearing a friend of mine shing a number that I wrote for Mark Stutzo's first solo album? That Hill Jack, that West Virginia boy who's been lighting up the Nighthawks for the past 10, 12 years. I wrote a song for his first album. It's a song about divorce. Or just busted up with your old lady, you know. When that shit happens, it's always a pain in the ass. But I wrote a song and it's called You Go Your Way and I'll Go Mine. Stutzo sang the crap out of it. And right now, in the here and now, Tom, I'm going to have another friend of mine, a friend whose skin is so white it's almost green. If you put the right light bulbs in the lamp and he glows upon him, sometimes his skin appears to be green almost, like the Green
like
Man.
Drum.
Like his drum.
How about this green drum? Green popsicle drum. And if you could see it, if we didn't have to have so much light in the room to make me not look like so old. Well, yeah.
It ain't working.
There was a light that flashes on and off on this thing. I'm going to have Wadi Cooper sing You Go Your Way and I'll Go Mine. And while he's singing it, I'm going to screw up some keyboard parts because I didn't have enough time to learn this in this key to play it as well as I needed to. But what the hell's the difference? But I'm gonna have.
Hello.
Get away from me. I'm gonna have Wadi sing "You Go Your Way, I'll Go Mine," and it's gonna be a true delight. You ready, sir?
Yes.
All right. I want you people out in the land of the internet to close your eyes and think about the last breakup when you went your way and your significant other went in the wind.
I did what I could to keep it real. I tried and I tried to close the deal, but you wouldn't commit. I must admit, oh, that I got tired of trying. So you go your way, I'll go mine. I gave you my heart, but that wasn't enough. You wanted my soul, but I called your bluff. Now there ain't no doubt this ain't working out, and I'm sure that you'll do fine, yeah. When you go your way and I'll go mine. Well, somebody said parting is such sweet sorrow. Oh, but I got a feeling we'll both feel better after tomorrow. You played the part the best that you could, but the truth of it is you never understood. But you wanted it all. I felt you withdraw, and I'll be sure to drop you a line, yeah. When you go your way and I'll go mine. Oh yeah, when you go your way, yeah, and I'll go mine. Yeah, yeah, when you go your way, yeah, and I'll go mine. Whoa, when you go your way, yeah, yeah, and I'll go mine. Ooh, when you go your way, baby. Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Mr. Wadi Cooper.
Thank you.
Soul singing for all the folks out in the land of the intranet. Nice hunk, right? That was beautiful. Thank you, kind sir,
Thank you.
for singing that number. You know what's nice when you write songs? When you have a singer take their lips and the words in your heart come out of their lips. It snaps my girdle so goddamn tight. I just love it. Thank you, sir, for singing that for me.
Thank you.
You touched me. Now, I like to do you a number that this hunter, who spent 30 years on the road with me, except for a while. I'll mention this. For a while, you know, Whitey was doing, we were doing so well, and then things leveled off, and then we just kept going and going and going. And Wadi said, you know what? I've been watching his ass for many, many moons. And he says, I think I should be out front. And he said to me, he says, you know what, Dork? I'm believing you. I'll go my way and you'll go yours. And he started his own band, Whitey and the Blind Venetians. And it was like a soul band. And they played soul songs. And this son of a bitch got out front. Stole every move I had ever used. But he put his own goddamn flair on it. And he wore, you know what he wore, Tom? That green sharkskin suit. And some real nice Ray-Ban sunglasses. And let me say this, and chicks were following him. And he was having fun, making a couple bucks, and fronting it up.
They were called what?
The name of the band?
The Blind Venetians.
Whitey and the Blind Venetians.
The Blind Venetians.
Was the name of the
Took me
band.
about 6 times when I finally got it.
That's what most people said.
That's a good name.
It is, right? And he had some guys pass through. You know who played with him? A friend of ours, the Polish Falcon. Didn't he?
Mark Haleski.
You know Haleski? Used to work down Pittsburgh Guitars. Guitar player, played with Hank. Thursday night at he did about 20 years in the big house down at the Excuses on Thursday Night Jam. Very good guy and a real cool guitar player. And he also had Chaluch, who ended up playing bass for us, playing guitar, who was an extreme talent and also was a really good singer. And he was out of Jersey. I think he was out of Long Branch, New Jersey, but he used to say Asbury Park because it sounded better. But he was a talent as well. But this is a song Whitey and I wrote together. And you guys know this. I don't like writing songs with other people. Tom, you know that, right? A lot of people said, I mean, let's write a song together. You know, a lot of people, they write songs together and all that bullshit. I don't just go writing songs with somebody. I don't do it. It doesn't seem right. You want to write a song? Write a goddamn song. You know, like down in Nashville, but we were writing together. We have an appointment to write together. You know what I say? Be somebody. Write something. You don't need somebody else in a goddamn room. Show me what's in your pants. Okay. That being said, I have written with other people. And I've written with this person. This lime popsicle skinned, taller than me, nice hair having, buck of a boy. And we wrote a song together, a thing called Ain't That Just Like a Woman. We wrote it when I was living on Woodstock Avenue. And when we wrote it, do you remember what happened?
One of your neighbor's house burned down.
And we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who was laying on the floor beside us when I wrote it?
Buster.
My first bulldog, who was just the handsomest boy you'd ever meet. And he didn't like nobody, but he liked Whitey, but he didn't like most people. So we wrote this song together, and we wrote it for what album?
This Old Train.
Yes, we did. We'd like to play it for, I'm going to have Whitey sing it.
I wrote a lot of the songs on that album, as a matter of fact.
Tom, Rochelle, I want you guys to know this. For years.
Only the good ones, though.
For years, this person has been claiming to have written my songs. I've been very upset about it, and I've never taken him to court on it because I don't believe in the court system. But I don't like him, and I don't like when he says that shit.
You can't handle the truth.
And that's that. But right now we're going to play a number, and we don't really have a good arrangement for it because we really haven't had time to work on music. But we're going to try it anyway. I don't know what the hell we're going to do with it. It was written for the This Old Train album that could have been, also had another working title. Do you remember what that title was?
Whitey's Greatest Hits.
Once again, trying to piss off an old man. Do you remember what it was? The other working title?
Night Riders? No.
No, but we wrote that. I said we wrote that.
See,
You know
we
what?
get to the
He's,
program. It's an
that shit ain't funny.
It's an indoctrination slowly here. It's starting
He's
to work.
trying, he's changing the truth. The other working title was "Living in the Lap of Luxury." Remember that song? And it was because I wrote that song because Ralphie Caminio, who was living at the studio upstairs of the studio, had a combination kitchen bathroom that you could sit on the toilet and make breakfast. It was a single guy's dream to live, and he also, do you think Tom likes that? And he also had, he loved trains, trains that you put under the Christmas tree, Lionel trains. And so what he did, he was so effed up, it's so crazy. He built a train track off the ground at about eye level. It was on stilts, and it went the whole way around the room, including the doorway to get into the room. So to get into his room, you had to duck down and crawl in. And to get into the combination kitchen bathroom, you had to duck down and crawl in because the trains went the whole way around the room. How great is that? Just Like a Woman, Wadi Cooper going to sing it to you. And I don't know what the hell we're going to do with it, but it should be, I like to use the word, delicious. Do you like it when I say delicious?
I do.
Hit me.
When I took you out on the town, I didn't mean to bring you down, 'cause I was just trying to show you a real good time. When in that little French restaurant, you turned your head and you walked out, 'cause I was drinking beer instead of wine. Ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? She really blow your mind. Oh, when I took you to the movie show, you said you really, really wanted to go. But when the curtain went up, you said you changed your mind. I told her all the money that I spent was worth every cent. She said, wait a minute, baby, I'm worth twice the price. Oh yeah, ain't that just like a woman, baby? Ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? She really blow your mind. Oh yeah. Tried to apologize. That's when she pulled me close and said, you're my kind of man. She said, baby, can't you see? There's more than a one of me. You gotta take me, baby, oh, just the way I am. Yeah, ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? She'll do you every time. Now, ain't that just like a woman, baby? Ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? She'll really blow your mind. Ain't that just like a woman? She'll do you every time. Oh yeah, ain't that just like a woman? She'll really blow your mind. Whoa, baby.
Ain't that shit nice?
Yeah.
See, I'd be dancing to shit like that right there. I'd be holding my belt buckle and swivel hipping. You know, when you swivel the hips, you're making the world turn. A swiveled hip, Tom, you know what it does? Snaps the girdle, and it makes the whole goddamn world turn around. It's all in here. The hip work.
Half an hour left.
We have a half an hour to be together, land of the internet. As I reach out to touch you, each and every one of you. I don't know if you guys ever heard about the time Nason Bulbul's gig. We're living over in Wiltonburg. And Nason, he was a very unique individual. And what he would do, he would get off on shit. He would go off in directions. Like when he saw the movie Full Metal Jacket. Like from the time he saw the movie Full Metal Jacket, I don't think he ever wore anything that wasn't camouflage ever again.
Remember wearing those bullets?
Yeah, and he would like have bullets, you know, like them things, like the things that the Mexican banditos.
Bandoleros.
Yeah, bandoleros. What a great word that is.
Bandoleros.
That'd be a good name for a band, the Bandoleros. Bandoleros. It's a double. You know when you hit a double, that's what they call. What do they call that in the dictionary, Tom? A double. Entendre. Oh, yes, Rochelle. An entendre. She went all French on me.
She did.
God damn it! We crossed the ocean, went to Gay Paris, and we entendre. Entendre. Love it. But Bulbul's Nason gig, and then he, like the rest of us, we all got into wrestling. Remember when Shindy Lauper, that crazy little bitch, she was hanging out with Captain Lou Albano, and she was like breathing life because rock was so the culture of our nation. It was killer. And she was got into wrestling herself and had this buddy of hers, Captain Lou Albano. And she was following wrestling and showing up at wrestling gigs, and it became a goddamn thing. Hulk Hogan was hulking, and he had those feather boas. I always
Wanted a feather boa.
always wanted to have feather boa. I always thought that when I walked in the room, I should have a couple of large men on each side of me carrying the boa that I would just take around my neck like a scarf, and then it would have the wings of the boa, and I should have guys that just held the boa as I walked. I just thought that's what I would do if my career had gone like this instead of like this. If I had wings, if my career had the wings, Tom, I would have a couple of huge men carrying my effing boa. But anyway, Nason, and you know who Nason, who his favorite wrestler was? Do you remember?
Jimmy Snuka.
Jimmy effing Snuka was Nason's favorite wrestler. And you know what Nason's favorite wrestling move was? Do you remember?
Oh, the heart punch.
Goddamn heart punch! Do you remember the heart punch, Tom? You never fell into wrestling?
A little bit.
You know why that is? You know why it is? Because you have intelligence. You know, you weren't like us. You weren't, you didn't grab it like us. You know where you could always find us? On the bottom of the tank. That's where you'd find us. There would be us and there would be catfish. And all the real intelligent and regular people would be up here. But we'd be with the catfish on the bottom.
And since there's only 20 minutes left in the show, don't forget to tell them about Nason's venomous snake collection.
That's what I was just getting to.
Oh, okay.
I was building it up. And somehow, was there a wrestler not named Jake the effing Snake? And there was somebody else who Nason and all the rest of us probably idolized, who was into reptiles. Oh, there was a Pittsburgh Steeler who was a linebacker that was into reptiles also at the time. And I think he, like Nason, there was like this thing of collecting snakes and reptilians. Well, anyway, when Nason got into shit, he got into shit. And he started gathering together snakes.
Venomous snakes.
Yeah, not like garter snakes, venomous snakes. And
Serious.
Wadi will tell you what happened when he went over to Nason's apartment one day.
Yeah, we were hanging out in Nason's apartment one afternoon, and he decides he wants to clean his king cobra cage. So he takes the lid off, and as soon as he does, the 6-foot king cobra leaps out of this cage, and goes insane. It's whipping around the room like a garden hose, and it's growling and making these noises.
Growling.
And it's coming after me, and I run out of the room, and I'm going to call 911 because this is going bad real quickly. And I can hear this thing moving around the room, and I'm shaking. And next thing I know, Nason grabbed this thing with a snake stick and wrestled it back into the cage and put the lid back on before I had a heart attack. True story. He also had baby rattlesnakes, and they're every bit as poisonous as a full-size rattlesnake, and they'd be in the cage doing this, and
Puff adders.
he
Remember
had
the
a
word
puff adder
adder?
about this long and about this thick, and it also would growl at you when you look at it.
And Nason was living with a woman at the time. And can you imagine what she was thinking? I'm living with this guy who's got snakes crawling around not just snakes, poisonous snakes. I told you about the time when I was a kid. When I first moved to the house, I still live in it now. There was all woods behind the house. And we went behind the woods and we started finding snakes. This isn't no bullshit, Tom. And so what I did was, we filled up a box of snakes, about 30 to 35 garter snakes and brown snakes. And we put them all in this box. And then I took the box home and put it up behind the house. And I said to my mom, I said, hey, Mom, I says, we got a present for you. And I think you're going to love it. And it's a present for you from us. And so, oh, that's great. She was all happy, being a great mother. And she went back and I opened the box up and she looked in it and there's about 35 snakes in there. And she kind of screamed and like slapped, maybe took her shoe off and hit me with it. And just a great story. But not as great as Nason's goddamn snake chasing Wadi around. Can you picture if I would have been there how happy would I would have been? I'd be go, chase his ass, get him. He's been messing with me for years. He says he wrote all my songs. Bite his ass. That's what I'd have been doing. I wish I'd have been there when it happened. I've been rooting for the goddamn snake.
I know.
Snake. But it's a good word to put an H in. Snake. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if I buy this mini mall, I buy the mini mall. I think they got somewhere in Turtle Creek or something. There got to be like a mini mall. Like 7 or 8 little shops. What is it about you, sir, where you might need treatment for? What is it in your life where you've gone wrong and you need someone to help you to take you out of the depths of degradation?
Band leader trauma.
Band leader trauma. And I'm sure there'll be a few folks like you abused by violent, ignorant, vile, self-absorbed.
Oh, yeah.
What they say, LSD. That would be that's what it'd be. That would be where you'd be at. Lead singer syndrome. He would be in
LSS.
lead singer syndrome. Yeah, I screwed that up.
LSD. That's a different.
Whatever. What the hell? Details. And Whitey would be in there. Would you think you would be able to get up and because you'd have to speak every time? Like when you're at your AA meetings, everybody gets up to speak.
I'm uncomfortable doing this.
No, you ain't. You love doing that. You know what you love doing? Me standing up here making a fool of myself, and then you jerking me off from behind my ass.
You're good at it.
What? Jerking myself off?
Make a fool of yourself.
I do have talent. You know what they've said about me? They say that little monkey, he was never the best singer. They say that little monkey, he was never the best guitar player. They say that little monkey wrote some simple ass songs along the way. And then they say, that little Dago clown always Tom, I was talking. You know, I mean, Jesus, I was talking. Listen to me. They would make fun of me and call me a clown. They say he gets up on stage, he talks some bullshit, says some stuff he thinks funny. No one else is laughing. And none of them people were wrong that ever said that shit about me. I'd like to do a song that I wrote in the past year or two. It's a thing called Clown. And I'd like to play it for you. Wadi, would you like to accompany me on this number?
I'd be happy to.
You'd be happy to?
Well, not really, but what else am I going to say?
I think you would be happy to. He said happy to. I've had happy to. Hey, it's a little thing called Clown. And let me say this. I love this effing song. When I wrote it, I knew I was in the deep water. That's when I said, I have arrived. I have found greatness. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look in the mirror, what do I see? Face of a clown looking at me. Ain't good for much, more than a laugh. Shows that have cracked and don't know the half. And you can tell the ringmaster that I'm in town. And I'm looking for a circus, looking for a clown. Kind of work, it's hard to find. Born and made up, come to mind. They're looking for a man that's funny. I'll be under the big top, making my money. That's the way I see it going down. I'm looking for a circus, looking for a clown. Been everywhere that day is. There's sure nothing but smile in the world. They roll with the eye while you talk to my agent and he'll set you straight. Tell you I was climbing right out of the gate. And please, I gotta be doing you just to hear. Shake over your blues and you can bet your sweet ass I've been around. I'm looking for a circus. Looking for a circus. Looking for a circus. Looking for a clown. It's nuts when you're playing guitar and singing and you start slobbering on yourself. You can always just stop and go like this, but when you're playing bass with one hand and melody with another and singing, there's no time to stop. So you got some sliver.
One of those lobster bibs.
I do, but then I'd have to go like this. I don't know if I could do it, but I had that sang the whole second half of that song with some spit on my chin. Looking for a clown. What I like to do right now is thank all you hunchers that watch the Norman Nardini show, that tune in, that I can't imagine that I've come so far in my life, Wadi, that somebody would take a goddamn minute out of their precious time to actually watch all this as it brings the heat and it slaps the meat. When I did slap, where were you? It brings the heat, and when I say this, when I go like this, your job is to go like this with me. He brings the heat and slaps the meat. Oh, you put punctuation on it. I wanted you to go with me. You know, and that's the thing about doing a show like this. Because we don't know what the hell we're going to do. We never know. You know, like for the first 30 years that I was being Norman on stage, I didn't write song lists. I didn't write a goddamn song list. You know what I did? I'd get out on the stage and I'd smell the audience. And my snoot would tell me what song to play next time. Because I could smell the audience. And they would tell me with the way they smelled.
Like the Alice Cooper show.
Well, hey, you took the quarter to the forehead, not me. I took a Coke to the face.
It was a $50.
You took it to the face. No, I took it to the face, and you took it to the forehead. Hey, we got a couple songs we could do left, and maybe we'll have to do that. But before we do, I want to ask Wadi one question.
Oh God.
When Wadi was a little kid, his father was in the military, so he lived in a lot of different places. And I used to say on stage, I did this stupid routine where I would say, Wadi Clyde Cooper from Portland, Maine. And then I would say all these other places. Kiki Mahawiki, Hawaii. You know, Seattle, Washington. And Dallas, Texas. And I would say all these different names. And then at the end of it, I would say currently attending high school in Hollidaysburg, out by Altoona, Pennsylvania. And that's where he ended up going to high school, was Altoona. And then I would always say currently residing in the Penn Hills district. But when Wadi was in high school, he was in Altoona, and that's where he met Nason Gig.
Hollidaysburg, actually.
Hollidinisburg. And that's when his life went to shit. It was Nason that took him down the bad road. So, Whitey, what was it like when you met Nason Gig in high school? How old were you?
My sophomore year, I was 16, I guess.
You were 16 years old?
Yes.
Wow.
16.
Let me drink that in. Let me have a drink of that. 16, you met Nason, and
Walking home from school one day, and this crazy looking guy with long hair, big, kind of chunky guy, comes over and starts talking to me. And he had heard I was a drummer, and we started talking about music. And then out of nowhere, he said, "Did you ever do animal tranquilizers?" And I went, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, man, animal tranquilizers. They're the best." And after that, I joined his band. I never took any tranquilizers, but I thinking I could use one right about now.
And the best part about Nason is this. Nason was an adopted child. And if I haven't described him to anyone that wouldn't know him, he was a big, bulbous guy that always wore clothes that were real tight. And he always was busting through them. And he also had rough skin. And he used to call himself ruggedly handsome. And he would say he was a stunt double for Robert Redford. And then he'd laugh real loud.
Freddie Fender, I thought it was.
And Freddie Fender as well. I think that was what I called him. But he was just a big, bulbous, tough guy's guy. And he was an adopted kid. And Nason, when he was adopted by two of the most normal middle of Pennsylvania people, very small people. They didn't bulge out of their clothes like he did. His father worked at a bank, and his mother was a teacher, right?
His dad was a bank president, and I think she taught, yeah.
And very square and straight people. I mean, In fact, so square and straight. That's what you would remember about them before you'd remember anything else. Except Mason's mom was a good-looking woman. She was hot.
Margie.
And his dad was this very official and very businesslike and proper guy. And Nason was like this bodacious, swearing and screaming, smoking dope. He would take ants and burn them and smoke ants and take banana peels and put them in the oven and cook them and then smoke that shit. He just always wanted to be high and always be drunk. And he was always in trouble. And he was always swearing. And his parents, neither one of them would ever swear ever. And he was always swearing. And they'd always be, oh, Nason, please. But he couldn't control himself. He couldn't not be that guy.
His mom had a garden party one time, and he set off pyrotechnics. He used to make his own pyrotechnics out of coffee cans filled with gunpowder and electrical wires. And she's out there, they're having tea and crumpets.
Real proper people.
And all of a sudden, boom, his stuff goes off. That was Nason.
He was fantastic. And the best part about it was how straight his parents were. And there was nothing, there wasn't a goddamn thing they could do to change the way he was.
Except one time, he went too far, and his dad started kicking him in the ass and chased him up the stairs and kicked him into his room.
I love that.
I was there. I witnessed that. His proper dad, real nice. Oh, Nason. Oh, Nason.
He brought the animal out of the
Yeah.
bank president.
He actually kicked him in his rear.
His
Up-
big
up the
ass.
stairs, yeah. Get up there.
I love it. I remember when I would meet Nason's parents, I was always like so amazed at how straight and proper they were. And then I'd look over at him and he'd be over there smoking cigarettes, drinking, doing dope, whatever he could do, he'd be doing it. Swearing, having snakes. Oh, he was fantastic. He was just the most rock and roll person. He died at the age of 33. But the good news is this. He lived the whole 33 years that he had. He lived at the top of he lived his life in his way. He could not be stopped at being who he was. And I love that. Nason also had very high level engineering skills. When he passed away, he was living up in Rhode Island, and he was working as an understudy to Phil Green, who was a high level engineer who did all the original boy band records. Not that Nason was into boy band music, but he was studying with a high level engineer because had he not passed on, he would have ended up having a great career as an engineer. Have you said hello to Wadi Cooper, who's here with us today? Talking a little about Nason Bullball's gig. We haven't talked much about Paul Shook, who had that chesty. Oh. He was one of the first guys I ever knew that shaved his chest. Shaved his goddamn chest? Are you kidding me? But I
Glad I'm here.
yeah, but first time we was in New York City, and we're eating dinner at this nice restaurant. You know, in New York, eating dinner in New York at a restaurant is a thing. And like city people do it, and they do it with great joy and with this. It's what you do at the end of the day to celebrate a great day. And we're in this real nice restaurant, and we're eating, and the waiter comes over and he goes and stands about
He
sugar
was
and
a
he goes,
record executive.
right. And we were who was it? Roger.
Atlantic Records, I think.
Okay, Atlantic was courting us, and they were there, and we were having dinner. And the waiter comes over and he stands by Shook and he goes, Vladimir, saying his name. And Shook looks at me and goes, yeah, I'm glad I'm here too. And we all just started laughing our Corleys off.
And he wasn't making a joke.
No, he said, Vladimir, yeah, I'm glad I'm here too. Because we were all really glad to be in New York City. We were just trash, you know. Being taken out to dinner by a record company executive. What we did was playing in shithole bars, snapping girdles. Hey, hey guys, we're about ready to wind this. What show is this, Tom? 12?
12.
Norman Nardini. Shoot! 12. And thanks for tuning in with us, and thanks for watching us on YouTube. If you watch us today, watch it again on YouTube. You know what I heard? I heard it's funnier the second goddamn time. So we're going to get the hell out of here. And maybe I should play a song as we.
Play a quick song.
Let's play a quick one.
The Minute Waltz.
The minute once.
Oh, I was going to play the keyboard, but I don't know. I can't think of what to play. Oh, okay. Let's play a keyboard song. We'll play a song I didn't write. A song that you would play on the Alzheimer's ward. It's kind of like a swingy thing, Mr. Clive. Give me that there.